Most of us do this action every day, unconsciously, without much thought. It's food, but it gets wasted again, and again. Food waste itself is defined as food fit for consumption, but is discarded at any point during the retail and/or consumption phases. Any food discarded before then during production, processing, and distribution is known as food loss, which is also part of the food waste problem. Think of any uneaten food from leftovers, expired products that are still edible, unsold and uneaten food from the stores or restaurants, and yes, even food scraps are considered food waste. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, 30 to 40% of our food supply goes to waste. In 2010, around 133 billion pounds of food was wasted in the country, which is worth $161 billion. Think of the amount of perfectly edible food that could have been diverted to feed the many food-insecure families across the U.S. It doesn't stop there because wasted food is wasted resources, as it takes so much land, water, and energy to produce the food we do and don't eat, let alone the time, labor, and money. Since food waste makes up a big portion of trash, I went to the place where most of our trash here ends up, the Larimer County landfill, where I took a tour and got the opportunity to ask the tour guide about food waste, its impacts, and what we as consumers could do to reduce it.
So as an educator for Larimer County, we like to sort of, champion the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. Reducing is honestly the first and most important step.
Okay, to add on to our first point on reducing, I wanted to show this food recovery hierarchy made by the EPA, which shows the ideal path of how food can and should be used before it ends up in the landfill. At the top, we see reducing, which is the number one thing consumers can do, and at the very bottom, we see that the landfill really should be the last place food ends up.
Considering what you're buying and reducing food waste in your own home is a great way to sort of start. That can be as simple as, saving vegetable peels and either putting them in a compost or making a stock out of them. Larimer County, we take, all waste, but right now food waste doesn't have anywhere to go except for the landfill if it comes here. If it's in your trash, it goes to our landfill, it gets buried. Once it gets buried, it, breaks down anaerobically and then creates methane. Produce is the easiest to compost, which, we've all had stuff go bad in the back of our fridges.
Yeah. You know how how you could get people interested in this?
Yeah, I think honestly just education is the big thing. Realize where, there's no land of away, right? Yeah. There's no actual away. When things go away, they come to us, and if they go away, if they are thrown away in garbages, they go to our landfill.
Right.
And that's true for everything. When we put our food waste in our vermicompost bin that we have, this is just our personal bin, the worms, they can eat, our banana peels in 10 days, and if you put it in the landfill, it can take decades to break down because it is an anaerobic environment. If they go in the landfill, those are nutrients, which are resources for, plants to use to grow. They won't ever be used again. They'll be locked in the landfill forever. When they get put into a linear cycle, which is the cycle that we see when we throw things away, they are used, thrown away, and put into a landfill where they can never be used again.
Back in 2015, the EPA and USDA announced the 2030 food loss and waste reduction goal, aiming to cut food loss and waste 50% by 2030. But this shouldn't just be a government goal, it should be personal too. The EPA and USDA have websites that have various resources and easy tips you can implement to reduce food waste in your daily life. Now, it's obvious that a lack of food is not our problem, but I do feel that the culture around food in the US is. A lot of people don't value food the way we should, and it's hard to when you're surrounded by food all the time, at every corner. Aisles filled with anything you want in the grocery store, restaurants with ginormous portions, and ads promoting consumption. So, if we ever want to change the culture and how we view food, everyone needs to care. And it starts with you.